A man whose name is just too manly to be displayed. It is censored, yes. I will not say who he is. I think you already know. And we're going to be speaking to him. Welcome back to A Clash of Kings 7.1 Reformers. And we are going to be, hopefully, I think we probably can, becoming a vassal of Mr. Stannis right here. Yes, Mr. Stannis. Hello there. Alright, so yeah, he is probably the most voted for in the comments. Technically it wasn't actually an official vote or anything like that, but so many people seem to want us to join Dragonstone that I decided, hey, you know what? Why not? I've never done it before. Might be kind of fun, and who knows? We can always leave at some point in the future if things don't go our way. So, I have come to offer you my sword and many other things. I shall be pleased to accept your sword into my service. Okay. There we go. What are you gonna? That's the thing, though. What village is he going to give me? I'm very much hopeful that he will give me something okay, not super good, but not also super bad. Hopefully. Anyway, give you the fief of Sheepwood. Oh dear. Right, you've done a wise thing. Okay, so we are actually not at war against anyone. I'm actually kind of surprised at this. I actually thought we would be at war against Westerlands, maybe, because they generally tend to be at war against most people, but apparently that is indeed not the case. So there's the Queen. Hello. Hello, Queen someone. And we also have a number of other people in here as well. And we are... Oh, this is actually really cool. The table is a map of... Isn't that Westeros? I think that is definitely Westeros. Anyway, whatever the case, I'm going to be going over to my village and seeing what it's all about. Right, so I've actually arrived in Sheepwood, and for those of you that are extremely familiar with the map of Westeros, you may not know exactly where it is if you're like me and don't really know about all of the smaller villages in the game. But for those of you that are familiar, you'll know that Sheepwood is right next to the wall. Yeah, it's right next to the wall. So this is kind of interesting because I have no idea how any vassal captured something up here or left. I would assume that they defected. But anyway, I'm actually wondering... I don't have enough money for any of these things. No, that's not going to happen. I suppose what I could do is meet with the village elder. Maybe get some people... Oh, yeah. I don't have time for this. I'm so sorry. Well, luckily enough, I did find a ransom broker. I'm actually attempting to find Stannis once again because he has now disappeared from Dragonstone, and I would like to speak to him in regards to a potential quest. But I found a ransom broker, as I said, and we're going to gain another 560 coins. I did just sell my loot as well, and I gained about 800 from that, so that's pretty good. We meet again, Elias. Yes, I am actually going to... I actually wouldn't even mind giving up my fief at the moment, because here's the thing. Stannis is the one that has ownership of Eastwatch by the Sea, which is the castle nearby to my village that he gave us. Now, that is a bit problematic, because, well, it is just so far away. I don't even know how I'm going to defend it. I suppose not. But I guess we'll find out. Right, so apparently there is no quest that I can currently do, which is kind of sad. I wish to be affiliated with you. I will not sponsor you. Oh, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Okay, I can actually take a look at his skills, and there you go. There are his skills. He's actually got some pretty decent stats, and I've actually just remembered now that Dragonstone have some kind of fragile units, so it might be kind of difficult for us to do anything here. But what I'm actually going to try to do is attack the north. I know. Attacking the north, probably not the best idea, but it is going to increase our territory in this area, which will then make it a little bit more secure for my village, and maybe I'll be able to lay claim to a castle as well. But before we do any warmongering of the sort, I decided that maybe it would be a good idea to get a little bit of extra cash. And I have about 2,500, I think. I mean, I did just sell a little bit more loot to the marketplace here, so I might have over 3,000, but that's not that much, that's not that much. So we're going to join the melee, and we're going to see what we can... Ooh, this is actually maybe going to work out quite nicely for us here, because as you can see, some of my companions have actually joined the melee, and that is going to mean everything, basically. So, yeah, look at this. We're going to earn 6,500 if we win the tournament. I think this is going to be pretty cool. If we can make it work, it's going to be fantastic. If I can't, then it's just going to be one of those times. Oh, 43 damage. This weapon is amazing. Yes. Oh, take that. Take that, wacky, waving, arm-flailing tube man. Apparently, that's what he was going for. Anyway, this is really cool. I love how you can actually see the wins and the losses for the various people. So let's enter the melee once again. Do I not get to bet again every single time, or is it just one time? Bryndon is going to die instantly because, let's face it, he is not a good fighter by any means. He is our medic after all. So what? Who beat him? Who beat Sir Stafford? That's maybe Sir Roger, I suppose. Sir Roger, I suppose, might have done it. Garrett won too. Yeah, by the way, I found him. He's about 700 to recruit, so pretty cheap. And let's enter the melee once again. Now this is who's this? Who is that? I don't even know. Sir Felton. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not know your name, Mr. Flowers. Yes, there you go. All right, so he still hasn't won? I'm actually really surprised because he has good armor on and all that stuff, but maybe his proficiencies are just not that good. Our next opponent is Lineria, as it does say up there, so I would have known who I was actually facing beforehand, but apparently I am too dense to see that. Anyway, that was an easy kill. This weapon that we have right here is fantastic. I mean, if you aim for the head, I think you're going to have a pretty easy time, because obviously helmets usually do not... they don't really give you that much protection usually, so it's much easier to get kills. As you can see, 93 damage, just because I am aiming for the head mostly. Anyway, Garrett is our next. Okay, so he's actually lost once now, so I suppose that's okay. So let's have a look at Garrett here. Okay, so how good is he? I suppose he got lucky with his bow, with many of the other opponents, I suppose. But he's not going to get lucky with me, that's for sure. Thank you very much. Okay, so here we go. Our next opponent is Mr. Manning, and we have won 6 times and lost 0. But this guy is going to prove to be quite tricky, I think. Maybe, or not, or not, as the case may be. Right, the melee has ended. Okay, so continue. Victory is yours. As the crowd erupts in applause, you are met by one of the young nobles of Case, who congratulates you on the victory and bring you your reward. A fine-looking destrier, in addition to honor, fame, and glory. Fantastic. That means we gained a pretty awesome horse. Cool. Let me have a look at that. Whoa. Okay, thanks very much. I appreciate it. Look at that. 200 HP, 40 charge, 35 maneuver, 40 speed. 15 armor. 15 armor is not so good, but everything else is pretty fantastic. And I'm going to buy a whole bunch of things here. Now we have 11,000 coins. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that is so nice. And what we're going to do with that is I am going to be recruiting additional units, because I'd like to recruit more Dragonstone units. I have about 20 to 25 of them already, and some of them have leveled up into regular man-at-arms. And then we will see where we go from there, because I have, on my way through the North territories, seen that most of their vassals are actually really weak right now, because obviously most of their territory has been taken by defectors. So we should be able to take advantage of this. Right, so I've actually just recruited an additional 2 companions, one from one town and another from another town, and I have now just received this message. You intercept a raven, a message is tied to its leg with golden thread, the paper fine and the ink exquisite. It urges all loyal lords to support Renly Baratheon as the only true king of the 7 kingdoms by virtue of being the brother of the former king. And as a result of this, Dragonstone and the Westerlands have declared war against the Stormlands, and we're going to be fighting them. Who do we have here? Well, I actually do have a quest to go and report to the Marshal now, but I am deciding instead to engage upon this enemy. that we have right here. And it has now, by the way, just dawned on me that my ironworks that I bought in the Weeping Town is no longer going to be profitable because, of course, we are at war against them. So what I did was, with my winnings from the tournament, I bought a Weaverian Dye Works, which should be up in Hull. Hull is the only town in Dragonstone's territory. So hopefully we're going to be seeing about 500 or so coins per week from that. And we are actually alongside a whole bunch of... This is not my army, by the way. Don't worry, this is not my army. I did not just magic up a whole bunch of extremely cool-looking mounted sergeants, that's for sure. Yes, I have many more levies, actually. But anyway, the point is that these guys right here, they are actually our allied vassals, and they're hopefully going to be helping us out quite a bit. And someone actually went to go and charge in here. It's not a good idea, not a good idea whatsoever. So let's hope that we'll be able to win against the Dragonstone, obviously Dragonstone, against the Stormlands. There are so many different things happening right now. I'm just getting confused about every single thing, including who I'm allied with, apparently. So that's not very good. But anyway, let's see if we can maybe do some damage with my two-handed here. Maybe get some experience, because obviously when you get the opportunity to get into these kinds of situations where you're actually capable of, you know, tackling enemy vassals this early on, it's pretty early, you know? It's pretty early. I don't have the best gear. It would be nice if I could gain some plate armor or something like that, but it's going to have to be enough for what I currently have here, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to get a couple of level ups. Maybe I'll be able to get some of my forces leveled up as well. Oh, Stormlander Vanguards. Got to have to be a bit careful about these guys, because they, as we know, can deal massive damage. I actually still have a number of Stormlands units in my army, so they are obviously going to be causing a couple of morale difficulties, but that's not really anything I can do right now about them, because I would like to level up my Dragonstone units as quickly as possible. And the problem with it is that obviously, because my Stormlands units are basically the highest levels I have, with the exception of I think a couple of veterans and maybe one elite Dragonstone man-at-arms, that's basically all I have really. So me getting rid of those Stormlands guys is going to destabilize the strength of my army pretty considerably, so I'm hopeful that we will be able to just level up these Dragonstone guys as quickly as possible, and we'll see what we can do about that. But from what I can tell so far, I think we're going to win this, because just generally having more numbers will get you the victory. But obviously, you know, that sometimes doesn't happen anyway, dependent on the quality of the enemy's units. But it seems like we are able to defeat them pretty simply here. And I'm actually getting some good experience, as you saw. I actually just leveled up, so that's pretty fantastic in itself. And what? My horse charges for 31 bonus damage? That's crazy. No wonder we wanted this. It's got hasn't it got like 40 charge or something like that? That's pretty crazy. Okay, so I'm actually hoping that maybe we can get another charge going on here, because, you know, taking people prisoner is always a good and rather profitable thing to be able to do, even though I only have five prisoner capacity. But there it is, 1 renown, and I actually did get Maron just now. That was one of the companions that I gained very recently, and we eliminated 70 of the enemy's units. We actually get a chance to take him prisoner as well? I'm very surprised. Let's take him. Let's take him, yeah, why not? Ooh, this is not good though, because this is actually causing the Reach to be annoyed with me, so I need to be very, very careful. I remember that about A Clash of Kings now, that I have to be very cautious about who I take prisoner and who I don't. Because if I take someone prisoner that is allied or has friends with another faction, then their relation is going to go down and potentially locks you out of that entire territory. In other words, the Reach, if they were at 1 or a very low amount of relation with us instead of at 10, then we would have been locked out of all of their towns, all of their castles, and we would have a pretty difficult time of things. So let's have a look and share this. Oh, wow. Yeah, we don't really have that much, do we? So I guess I'm just going to take the shield. Well, this is another battle. This is another battle. Now that we are actually in a war, it is going to make things so much easier for me to get experience, so much easier for our units to level up, and I haven't even had an opportunity to level them up, which is actually kind of bad. I really should have leveled them up before we headed in here, but I do have a pretty sizable amount of levies. I have about 20 or so of those, and I do have quite a few regular man-at-arms, so getting those guys leveled up in their entirety is a really good idea. I'm going to need to be a bit careful here though, and I gotta say I actually really like the map environments that I've been getting right here, because they are so diverse. They've got little bunches of trees here and there, very natural looking, and they have a river in the middle, which obviously makes things a little bit more tactical as well, because if indeed I had a lot of archers, which I do not, but if I did, then it would be pretty nice for us to counter the enemy's cavalry with this. But as it stands right now, the enemy is very stubborn indeed. They're really not wanting to attack us because, well, let's face it, they are outnumbered once again. We have 170, and they have about 79 or 89 or something like that. So it is pretty dire situation for them at the moment, but I am able to deal significant damage with our one-handed cleaver right here, and that's exactly the reason why I wanted to get this, because even though it cost me 1500, I think it's paying off pretty huge dividends right here, because being able to deal that much damage and indeed win that tournament to begin with, winning that tournament was super big. Because if I was not able to afford the weavery and dye works, we would have, well, only one village. And, well, that one village has no improvements whatsoever to speak of at the moment, because obviously I don't have enough money to be able to buy them. But the fact is that not having any improvements in these places does make them not exactly profitable unless you can keep them very, very safe and improve their prosperity over time through the use of building structures. And as it stands, obviously, I cannot do that at the moment because they are so incredibly far away as well. So that's also a thing that we got to take into account. And the weavery and dye works is, of course, much easier to maintain because I don't have to do anything with it. I don't have to protect it or anything like that. And the only way that we are going to lose it is if the town in Dragonstone is taken, and that's never going to happen in my opinion. I don't think we're going to have any problems there, and I am hopefully going to be able to get another level up relatively soon, because I'm actually eliminating quite a few enemies here, and it would be nice. Ooh, those guys. Oh yeah, someone told me actually to get one of those hammer polearm things, those blunt polearm things. I did actually play with that in a previous Clash of Kings series, and I gotta say, it is one of my favorite weapons. Absolutely one of my favorite weapons of all time, I think. And if I could get that in native, and if I could get that in other mods, then I would basically use it almost all the time, I think. Unless, well, I guess it's kind of good to have some variety, of course, but the point is that it's just an absolutely fantastic weapon, and not using it is a travesty. So, you know, anyway, the point is that maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't, it really depends. But I remember using that in a previous series, and it was super fun. Really super fun, because at that point, what I was doing to get money, basically, is I was taking all of my Stormlands units, leveling them up into Hammermen, and I was taking them to the north, and I was just fighting like wildling groups and raiders and so on and so forth, and taking them all prisoner and then just selling them at a nearby ransom broker. And that was enough to basically earn a huge amount. Basically, I was able to get like 20,000 or so in not much time at all, and then I was able to get weavery and dye works and various other enterprises and so on, and it was just so incredibly fun as well as profitable to play with that weapon. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, there you go. We are getting some relation with this fellow, which is actually pretty good. Being able to get relation with your fellow vassals is going to be very important as we go forward. And I actually have the opportunity to take this guy prisoner as well. As I've said, it is going to be kind of touch and go whether we want to do that or not. Technically, I can actually take a look at him, and I can actually see what... Whoa, he's the Lord of the Weeping Town? Right. Well, person, are you Is he is he related to anyone in any other faction? I have no idea. So I guess I will be taking him prisoner and we'll just see. Yeah, it seems like the Reach is not a fan of this. I suppose it could be because they are, I mean, they're not allied. We know that because the Reach has not declared war or anything like that to help them out. But yeah, something's definitely going on there. Anyway, let us take a look at our forces, and you can see here that we have a decent amount of veterans and, well, a couple of elites because they've leveled up over the time that I've been actually fighting and, you know, doing a little bit of deserter fights and various other things. And obviously our small amount of trainer skill is doing a little bit as well, but that's really nothing. It's really nothing at all. Now I'm actually wondering if we are going to be getting anything from those guys, whether we're going to be getting a good amount of ransom, because obviously we're going to have to accept basically the first amount that we are offered, because if we don't, then people are going to hate us even more, and that's just something that we can't really afford. Anyway, I think that is probably going to be it for this episode. Next time, we're going to be continuing our war against the Stormlands, and maybe, just maybe, I will be able to take my first castle. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.